The PlayStation 3 was a full-blown personality with a cell processor and a taste for the experimental. While everyone else was busy chasing blockbusters and billion-dollar budgets, some developers looked the PS3 straight in its shiny, overcomplicated face and said, "Let's get weird." And thank the gaming gods they did. From time-warping zombie detectives to voxel heroes with swords the size of buildings, this system gave us some of the most inventive, bizarre, and unforgettable titles of the generation. So grab your DualShock, charge that controller, seriously, it's always dead, and let's dive into 25 of the most unique PS3 games ever made. Catherine. Things get weird when your dreams start trying to kill you and your love life feels like a cosmic punishment. Meet a poor guy juggling two women, one a stable, long-time girlfriend, the other a mysterious blonde who might literally be a nightmare. By day, he's drowning in drinks and dodging commitment at a bar. By night, he's climbing collapsing towers of death in his boxers. No, seriously. The gameplay shifts between conversations with barflies, texting the ladies, playing arcade cabinets, and facing nightmarish puzzle towers where your only tools are a sharp mind and a whole lot of block pushing. Choices you make in text messages and conversations subtly guide your morality and your ending. Multiple love interests, multiple endings, and way too many sheep. Yes, sheep. It's got intense mind-bending puzzles, existential crises, and a difficulty level that can turn your brain into scrambled eggs unless you patch it with the safety mode. Plus, the full-body re-release threw in a third love interest, new mechanics, and even online multiplayer to prove who's the most confused and competent sheep in the herd.
How is your dear, sweet Paul? Is she hanging in there? Fuck you!
Shadows of the Damned. Breaking into hell with nothing but a talking gun and a tequila addiction sounds like a terrible idea, unless you're this guy. When your girlfriend is kidnapped by the Lord of Demons and dragged into the underworld for some serial murder romance loop. What else can you do but suit up, rev your demon bike, and shoot everything in the face? This demon hunting trip gets wild. You've got a sentient skull named Johnson, who shapeshifts between torch, pistol, shotgun, and machine gun, and occasionally offers terrible relationship advice. The real twist? Darkness is your enemy. It literally drains your life unless you light up creepy goat heads to burn it away. Yeah, goat heads, not kidding. The tone rides the line between absurd and cool, dropping you into puzzles inside shadows and boss fights with giant baby heads and demon kings wearing top hats. Don't ask. The remastered version brings this underloved fever dream back to life, with all its ridiculous charm intact. It's crude, it's chaotic, it's criminally underrated, and somehow it all feels like a breakup anthem dipped in hellfire.
And on my birthday, too! Like I'm not already late enough! Gross! Stupid!
Lollipop Chainsaw. When your birthday plans involve zombie decapitation, cheerleading acrobatics, and a disembodied boyfriend head strapped to your skirt, congrats! You're probably doing this game justice. The world's only chainsaw-wielding cheerleader/zombie slayer is here to slice through undead hordes with rainbow sparkles, pop music, and absolutely no concern for subtlety. You'll spend your time hacking through flesh eaters in a blood-soaked version of High School Spirit Week, racking up gold and platinum medals for flashy, sparkle-hunting kills. Combos? Absolutely. Upgrades? Of course. Nick tickets? Let you spin a roulette wheel using your decapitated BF's noggin to activate wild attacks, because logic is overrated. Between rampaging through farmyards, amusement arcades, and long ships in the sky, You'll also face down musical-themed zombie bosses, like Viking metal maniacs and psychedelic freaks. And when it's time to recharge, lollipops are health potions now. Why not? MGS HD Collection. Stealthing around in cardboard boxes has never looked this slick. This remastered collection doesn't just sneak into your console, it infiltrates your nostalgia and detonates it with 720p visuals and buttery smooth 60 FPS gameplay. It's espionage, HD style, packing 3 of gaming's most legendary stealth missions into one tactical suitcase. You'll step into the boots of multiple generations of Snake, slithering through plots more twisted than a bowl of spaghetti. From philosophical AI meltdowns in tanker ships to shirtless jungle knife fights with cobras in camo, the blend of stealth, gadgets, and cryptic radio calls hits harder than a CQC slam. Peace Walker joins the squad too, reworked with dual-stick controls so you can finally aim like a modern soldier and not a thumb wrestling champion. Tokyo Jungle. Post-apocalyptic Tokyo has gone full Animal Planet, but with more blood, less David Attenborough. In this wild dystopia, humans are extinct, civilization is toast, and your cute little Pomeranian just became the apex predator, or at least thinks he is. The concrete jungle now belongs to a chaotic food chain, where giraffes, dinosaurs, chickens, and robot dogs all battle for turf like it's gang warfare meets National Geographic. Gameplay throws you into 2 main modes. A story-driven questline, where you unlock bizarre animal sagas, yes, including robotic dogs contemplating the fate of humanity, and a survival mode that lets you control everything from house pets to prehistoric nightmares. You'll eat, breed, fight, mark territory, and try not to get mauled by an angry hippo or ambushed by ninja cats. The stealth system isn't just for show, because you'll be sneaking through overgrown skyscrapers to scavenge food or avoid becoming it. Dominating Tokyo means managing hunger, toxic weather, and rival predators, all while keeping your furry lineage alive long enough to pass the crown onto your pups.
Abandon that memory. It's unproductive. Go to Wonderland.
I can't. I'm trapped.
Alice Madness returns. When tea parties turn into trauma spirals and your therapist is secretly the final boss, you know you're not in Disney's Wonderland. This twisted sequel takes our knife-wielding heroine back down the rabbit hole. Except this time, she's cutting through PTSD, child trafficking, and living porcelain dolls with a vorpal blade sharper than your childhood memories. Armed with psychotic household items turned deadly, like a pepper grinder that doubles as a minigun, and a hobby horse that smashes skulls like it's polo season, combat feels like ballet through a nightmare. Each level's design oozes grim beauty, from Mad Hatter steampunk factories to corrupted dollhouse realms straight out of Tim Burton's therapy sessions. Sprinkle in dodge mechanics, floating platforms, and secret paths only visible when Alice shrinks down, and it becomes a full-on fever dream parkour simulator. Teeth are currency, memories are collectibles, and flowers heal your mental and physical wounds. Oh, and when your health gets low, you can snap into hysteria mode, turning invincible and making bloodletting somehow poetic.
30%.
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. When the apocalypse hits and your only ride is a slave ship full of angry mechs, things go downhill fast. Unless you're a shirtless bruiser with a bow staff, gymnastic thighs, and the unwilling obligation to protect a tech-savvy girl who just shackled you with a death tiara. That's how this strange, poignant, and oddly romantic journey begins. Taking heavy cues from Journey to the West, the game throws you into a rusted-over world draped in ivy and despair. You'll scale skyscrapers crumbling like stale cookies, bash deranged robots with a staff that moonlights as a plasma cannon, and pilot a hoverboard named Cloud, because why not? Monkey handles the brute force and platforming. Trip handles the brains, hacking systems, deploying decoys, and occasionally EMPing your enemies while hiding behind cover like a caffeine-deprived intern. Tech orbs are your best friends for upgrades, and trust building is literally a matter of life and death thanks to the slave headband.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday.
Silent Hill HD Collection. When the fog rolls in and your radio starts spitting static, you know it's not just a bad weather report. It's a ticket to the most existentially horrifying vacation spot on Earth. This remastered 2-pack throws you back into psychological torment with a grieving widower on a guilt-fueled scavenger hunt, and a teenager unraveling cult secrets that would make Lovecraft flinch. You'll explore haunted hospitals, monster-infested subways, and other delightful nightmares armed with rusty pipes and maybe a pistol if you're lucky. Puzzles range from clever to cruel, and every hallway has the energy of a cursed therapy session. The remaster boasts 720p resolution, trophies, and updated voice acting, though not everyone was thrilled about hearing Pyramid Head's victims scream in HD clarity. Let's be honest. The fog was mood, not a graphics limitation. But here, it sometimes fades too much, exposing more than just the horrors. It shows the old game's seams. Still, when the dread creeps in and the music shifts from ambient to run for your life, the magic, or trauma, is alive and well. Whether you embrace the original voiceovers or the new cast, this is a nostalgia trip that might just leave your psyche permanently fogged over.
It was gonna be fun. You're gonna have to learn to love the pain. There's a lot more of it to come.
What have you done to me?
Splatterhouse. Nothing says romantic date night like getting possessed by a Mayan death mask and body slamming your way through a haunted house full of mutant fetus demons. This horror-splattered beat-em-up doesn't just punch you in the nostalgia, it rips your head off and uses it as a bowling ball. You're not here to ask questions. You're Rick, you're mad, and you've got a 2x4 with zombie guts on it. The gameplay is gloriously primitive. Walk right, punch left, smash face, repeat. But it adds flair with brutal weapons like cleavers and shotguns, plus alternative paths that let you fall through a hole into an even worse hole. Each stage ends in a boss fight that often has a nasty little twist, like haunted rooms throwing furniture at you, or a fetus spewing womb that screams when you bash it. That's a thing. Despite its pixelated format, the gore hits hard. Arms fly, skulls explode, and your girlfriend mutates into a monster and begs you to kill her. And you do. And then you go punch the house's uterus, because that's what real parapsychology majors do when romance dies in a bloodbath. The Unfinished Swan. Waking up to find a swan has escaped its painting sounds like a fever dream, but for Munro, it's just the beginning. Armed with a magical silver paintbrush, you'll explore a surreal world that starts off completely white. Throw black paint to reveal hidden walls, stairs, and secrets. It's like first-person hide-and-seek with architecture. But it doesn't stop there. The game shifts styles constantly. Ink-blasted mazes give way to pastel cities, gravity-warping puzzles, and invisible platforms lit only by thrown paint. Each chapter introduces a fresh mechanic, keeping things as unpredictable as the swan you're chasing. All of it wraps around a surprisingly emotional story, one about a lonely king who creates a kingdom from nothing, then loses everything. Turns out, he's also your dad. Yeah, this story goes deep.
I appreciate it. I'll get there on my own.
Miss, you'll be killed!
A dark...
Folklore. When your mother sends you a letter from beyond the grave, you don't just ignore it. That's how this dark, dreamy adventure kicks off, tossing you into a Celtic mystery full of fairies, folklore, and existential spirit harvesting. You'll play as two characters, Ellen, the quiet girl with a forgotten past, and Keats, the skeptical journalist with the vibe of a ghost-busting Hemingway. Gameplay splits between a sleepy Irish village and the monster-packed Netherworld. In Doolin, you do the detective work. In the Netherworld, you throw down with mythological nightmares, capturing their souls Pokemon style by yanking them out with the 6-axis controller like you're reeling in evil koi. Each protagonist has a different flavor. Ellen is strategic and defensive, while Keats is basically a supernatural wrecking ball. The creatures you capture, called folk, become your abilities, so every fight feels like assembling a spectral toolkit. Nier. In this game, Apocalypse comes with killer robots, immortal monsters, and a grimoire that flings magic like a sassier Harry Potter book. Things get complicated fast. In this cult favorite RPG, you're a rough-around-the-edges dad, or a younger brother, depending on the version, desperately trying to save Yona, a sweet girl with a disease that sounds like a prescription drug warning label, the Black Scrawl. On paper, it's hack-and-slash combat with swords and spells. In practice, it's a mashup of genre-bending madness. One moment you're in a standard action RPG dungeon, the next you're solving puzzles from a bird's-eye view or battling bosses in a bullet hell nightmare. One haunted mansion even turns into a full-on text-based adventure. The world is melancholic and broken, but bursting with bizarre charm, thanks to your snarky floating book buddy Grimoire Weiss and a foul-mouthed, lingerie-clad warrior named Kaine. It's emotional, experimental, and not afraid to throw narrative curveballs that hit you in the gut.
No soul shall fall into the hands of the Goma.
Asura's Wrath. When your rage is so astronomical that you punch a god into the moon and then keep going, welcome to this mythological fever dream. You play as a wronged demigod, betrayed by his celestial co-worker, whose response to injustice is to yell very loudly and obliterate everything in his path with divine, six-armed fury. Gameplay is less about challenge and more about spectacle. You'll fight waves of enemies, blast through rail shooter segments, and smash face buttons during cinematic QuickTime events so intense they might snap your controller in half. The life bar is your health. The burst bar, that's the I've had enough of your BS meter. Fill it up and prepare for world-ending vengeance, literally. The game plays out like an anime box set on espresso. Each episode has opening credits, dramatic recaps, and next time on teasers. Even the still-frame lore between chapters looks like concept art straight out of a god-punching graphic novel.
Open your eyes! The war is all around us! You can't escape it! You can hide here and leave the fighting to braver men! Or you can walk out that door and do what must be done! The choice is yours!
The Saboteur. If climbing the Eiffel Tower to assassinate a Nazi in the middle of a citywide rebellion doesn't scream cinematic revenge fantasy, then this gritty gem might just change your mind. Set in Nazi-occupied Paris, you step into the muddy boots of Sean Devlin, Irish race car driver, reluctant hero, and full-time chain-smoking saboteur with a taste for vengeance and explosive. The city's mood reflects the occupation, literally. Black and white visuals suck the color from every Nazi-infested street until you start blowing stuff up and giving the resistance hope. Freeing an area from fascist control brings the world back to vibrant life, which makes torching a watchtower feel like both revolution and interior design. You'll scale rooftops, disguise yourself as the enemy, throw haymakers in grimy back alleys, and even engage in Grand Theft Paris with a garage of stolen rides. Missions are a mix of stealth, all-out firefights, sabotage, and stylish getaways, all delivered with pulpy flair and thick accents.
Freeze! Put your hands in the air. Slowly. Haven't seen you around before. What's your name?
My name's Welkin.
Valkyria Chronicles. When war looks like a watercolor painting, but hits like a strategic gut punch, you're probably knee-deep in this beautifully bizarre tactical RPG. Set in an alternate World War II-inspired Europe, you command a ragtag squad of militia misfits from the peaceful, resource-rich nation of Gallia, now caught between two warring superpowers who both want its magical fuel, Ragnite. Think Saving Private Ryan meets Ghibli, with a dash of anime drama and tactical grid combat. Gameplay is a unique fusion of turn-based strategy and third-person shooting known as Blitz. You issue commands, then zoom down to ground level to manually aim, dodge and duck behind sandbags. Snipers, shock troopers, engineers. Everyone plays a role. Every shot counts. And permadeath? Oh, it's real. The visuals are hand-drawn heaven thanks to the canvas engine, making even tank battles look like a sketchbook daydream. But beneath the beauty lies a gripping, emotional story of resistance, loss, and finding hope in the fog of war. Every unit has a name, a backstory, and quirks that affect gameplay. So yes, you'll care when someone dies. Killer is dead. When your day job is assassinating lunar demonic CEOs with a katana, and your side gig involves seductive gift-giving in lingerie shops, you know subtlety is not on the menu. This neon-drenched hack-and-slash throws you into the leather shoes of Mondo Zappa, an effortlessly cool, one-armed executioner who slices through dream-warped criminals and cosmic weirdos, all while rocking a robotic gun arm and designer stubble. The action is fast, fluid, and deliciously violent. Every combo, dodge, and blood-soaked finish adds to a meter that lets you unleash cinematic death moves. Mastering perfect dodges sends you into adrenaline rush mode, a slow-mo ballet of carnage where Mondo goes full anime fury. His gun arm morphs into ice blasters, miniguns, or charged death cannons, just in case the swordplay wasn't spicy enough. Between missions, you'll engage in gigolo sessions, absurd, controversial minigames that mix eye contact with lingerie shopping to unlock weapon upgrades. Yep, that happens.
Radiation spike on your vector. Oh shit! It's an EMP!
Singularity. When your first mission includes time traveling back to 1955 and accidentally saving the Soviet version of Dr. Doom, you know it's going to be one of those days. As Captain Nathaniel Renko, you're dropped into a Cold War nightmare full of mutants, malfunctioning time rifts, and a device that makes clocks cry. The time manipulation device, TMD, is your best buddy. Want to age an enemy into dust? Rewind a crate into perfect condition. Restore a collapsed bridge like you're reverse assembling IKEA furniture. Boom, TMD it. It's Half-Life meets Time Cop, with more radioactive sci-fi horror and less caution. Exploration includes repairing wreckage, unlocking sealed paths, and deciphering old journals that foreshadow your own paradoxical fate. And when it comes to endings, you're offered a delightful moral buffet of timeline-shattering choices. Kill a tyrant, become one, or just nuke everything into a leadership vacuum where you rise as time's ultimate warlord.
Whoa, what's that?
Listen, Hugh Grave!
Eternal Sonata. A dying pianist's final dream turns into a fantastical RPG where melodies and magic intertwine. Set in the imagined subconscious of Frédéric Chopin during his last hours, this story follows a young girl named Polka who, much like the composer, suffers from a mysterious illness. In this vivid world, where light and shadow literally shape combat, Polka joins forces with rebels to stop a corrupt empire pushing a deadly mineral powder across the land. The game beautifully blends real history with pure fantasy. Each chapter is named after a Chopin composition, and classical piano interludes anchor the experience in something deeply human. Combat isn't just turn-based, it's rhythmically charged. Tactical time pauses give you just enough seconds to plan, and once the action starts, you're sprinting, slashing, and casting in real time with a combo system that changes depending on light and darkness. Characters evolve with unique skills, and environmental lighting alters both your attacks and the monsters you fight. The anime-styled visuals are stunning, and emotional beats hit hard, thanks to a melancholic narrative that constantly reminds you this world may only exist in Chopin's fading mind. It's elegant, eccentric, and unlike any JRPG you've ever played before. Spec Ops The Line. A routine recon mission into a sand-choked Dubai quickly spirals into a hallucinatory descent into madness, bullets, and morally ambiguous decision. You step into the boots of Captain Martin Walker, whose dry-cleaned sense of duty gradually disintegrates under collapsing skyscrapers and collapsing sanity. The mission? Find out what happened to Colonel John Conrad and his battalion. The result? Well, you might just find out you're the villain. Gunplay feels tight and tactical, with cover-based third-person shooting that occasionally lets you hurl sand avalanches at enemies because apparently Dubai's biggest export is now trauma. You'll command your squad with basic tactics, but good luck keeping them emotionally intact. The deeper you go, the more the game starts unraveling. Dialogue degrades, loading screens mock you, and your kill animations turn from military precision to full-on rage therapy. The echo and shadow of the Colossus collection. Two haunting worlds, one emotional gut punch of a collection. First, you've got a lonely horned boy escaping castle lockdown like it's Sunday brunch in a nightmare, holding hands with a ghostly princess who speaks in adorable gibberish and attracts shadow monsters like she's made of haunted cake. Then there's a quiet, wind-swept land where your only job is to murder 16 skyscraper-sized beasts because a glowing voice in the sky said it might bring your girlfriend back. Romantic, right? Gameplay in both is minimalistic perfection. One's a puzzle platformer soaked in eerie silence and gentle hand-holding. The other's a giant slaying Odyssey on horseback that asks, hey, what if boss fights were the entire game? And somehow makes that a work of art. In this HD remaster, Bluepoint Games pumps both titles full of extra pixels, fixed frame rates, 3D support, and surround sound that'll make every whisper of wind feel like a carrot. They didn't add new content, because when you've already achieved minimalist storytelling nirvana, why mess with it?
Rooftops become pathways and conduits, possibilities and routes to escape. The flow is what keeps us running, keeps us alive.
Mirror's Edge. Ever wanted to leap off skyscrapers, run on walls and punch fascism, all in first person? Welcome to the spotless, dystopian utopia of Mirror's Edge, where the world is clean, but the politics are filthy. You play as Faith Connors, a parkour pro and rebellious male girl with zero chill for totalitarian control. Her job? Run, jump, wall kick, slide, and zipline her way across a city where freedom is banned, style is mandatory, and red-painted objects practically scream, "Parkour here!" Armed with just her fists, feet, and the occasional enemy disarm, Faith dodges bullets and bad vibes to rescue her cop sister, unravel a conspiracy, and take down a project literally called Icarus, because flying too close to the surveillance sun is apparently a genre requirement. Combat's an option, but slowing down to shoot is for quitters. Real runners vault off rooftops like caffeinated gazelles, with visuals sharper than the glass towers she clings to, music that pulses like a heartbeat, and momentum that feels like poetry in motion. Mirror's Edge is less of a game and more of an acrobatic fever dream. Even years later, fans still chase that first-person adrenaline rush. Trust me, when Faith runs, your pulse will follow.
I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my job. If you think of anything you want to talk about, contact me, okay?
That'll never happen. I don't really like the police.
Deadly Premonition Director's Cut. There's something deeply wrong in Greenvale, and it's not just the coffee, though Agent York will absolutely tell you about that mid-murder investigation. This survival horror fever dream throws you into the most Twin Peaks coded murder case in gaming history, where FBI agent Francis York Morgan, please call him York, everyone does, chats with his imaginary friend Zach, critiques diner pie, and solves gruesome murders between fishing minigames and beard maintenance. Yes, shaving earns you money. Welcome to Deadly Premonition. Gameplay swings wildly between investigative open-world wandering and combat sequences straight out of a nightmare. You'll shoot ghoulish creatures, dodge the raincoat killer during QTE chases, and profile crime scenes while your hunger and sleep meters tick down like existential doom clocks. NPCs have full daily routines, shops open and close on schedule, and driving around feels like controlling a tank with emotion. Also, if your suit gets too gross, flies follow you around and people comment on your smell. Game heroes. When an entire kingdom upgrades from 2D to 3D because the king thinks pixels are so last gen, you know you're in for a nostalgia-soaked fever dream. In this voxel-stuffed action RPG, you play as the descendant of a legendary hero tasked with resealing the evil that's gone and unsealed itself like an expired bag of chips. Armed with an absurdly oversized sword that literally fills the screen when you're at full health. Talk about overcompensation. You'll explore classic screen-by-screen dungeons, fight pixel monsters, solve puzzles, and collect magical relics like it's 1986 again, but shinier. You'll upgrade your weapon's length, width, and magical firepower until your blade resembles a flying door. Toss boomerangs, swing lanterns, and shoot arrows across charmingly blocky landscapes while smacking enemies over the head with an encyclopedia to log their entry. Yes, that's a real mechanic. Siren Blood Curse. A cursed mountain village, frozen in an eternal time loop. Sounds like your typical vacation gone wrong, except this one's crawling with undead cultists, crimson rituals, and existential time-bending headache. This episodic horror tale throws you into the freak show known as Hanuda, where you'll bounce between a half-dozen characters trying to survive the village's Shibito problem. These aren't your garden variety zombies either. They're persistent, invincible, and really bad at respecting personal space. What sets this one apart isn't just the gory lore or creepy rural Japan aesthetic, but the unique sight jack mechanic. Instead of just hiding, you literally jack into a Shibito's vision to track their patrols, dodge their undead senses, and solve puzzles like a paranoid ninja. And you'll need all the help you can get, because weapons are rare, enemies respawn, and stealth isn't a suggestion, it's your religion now. And And that's a wrap on 25 PS3 games that dared to be different, glitched gloriously, or just straight up ignored the gaming rulebook. These playable oddities were bold experiments, underappreciated cult classic, or genre-bending fever dreams that helped define what the PS3 was all about: creative risk. These games left their mark in the most delightfully unexpected ways. Still got that PS3 plugged in? Good. Because these weird wonders are worth every bite. Like, comment, and subscribe for more gaming deep dives.